Hello and welcome back to the Author Roundup, a special segment of the Book Connection Show where we meet up and coming indie authors and talk to them about the recently released books. Welcome back. Again, this is Ray Walters. In a world where imagination meets memory and the past refuses to stay buried, comes a story that is as bold as it is thoughtful. It's not every day that a novel can slip between decades with such ease, bringing together forgotten heroism, lingering grief, and the quiet, fierce hope of a child. This tale does more than just revisit the tragedies of war. It questions what we remember, what we pass on, and how stories, when told well, can become missions of their own. Behind this remarkable work are two individuals who bring both vision and precision to the page. One draws deeply from his own roots in Val Trebbia and Val Boreca, while the other brings a rich background of storytelling and experience as a published author. Together, they've created a novel that invites readers to think, to feel, and perhaps to remember a little differently. Please welcome to the Author Roundup, Paolo Zanardi and Sergio Bossi. Hello, guys. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Ray. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys. Very much excited to be talking to you in this particular episode. And also like to welcome to the show, together with us, is Mr. Ben Catt from Cardiff, Wales, to make this conversation even more fun and engaging. Ben, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Ben. All right, gentlemen, congratulations in getting this book published. How has it been?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, so I'll jump right into our first question. This novel spans across two time periods. We're talking about World War II and the modern day. So what first inspired the both of you to bridge these vastly different eras in a single story?
Yes, if we read a history book, we see that while techniques evolves in the time, wars instead persist and recur. Humanity constantly refine its intellect and always seeking new technologies and increasingly destructive bombs. Yet it fails to grasp that it's slowly destroying itself and everything around it. This book reveals the way out of all of this, I think.
Okay. Paolo, Sergio, the title alone of the book, When a Little Girl Defused the Bomb, suggests a major turning point, driven by a child. So what led you to place such weight on a young character like Elisa?
Yes, Elisa is the younger girl, a younger girl destined to discover the bomb. Mirrors of Olivia, if you remember from Spielberg Schindler List film by also wearing red. Olivia, a Jewish girl, survived in the Krakow suburbs. Elisa embodies the profound and still present tragedy of the Shoah, a drama that tragically recurs globally, even with their role inverted today.
Okay. What makes this book interesting, Sergio and Paolo, is that the book opens with a fight scene full of quiet tension and layered meaning. Why did you choose an airplane cabin as the setting to launch this journey?
For you. Yeah, yes, this is an answer for me. Yes, the airplane cabin invites the reader to settle in and share conversations, transporting them to another dimension where they can fly and fantasize. It's within this space that all the characters meet, introduce themselves and unfold the intricate details of this tale of war, but also of love and peace. This is the very essence of Wellington HZ182 when a little girl defused the bomb.
Okay. Another question regarding the characters of the story, Sergio and Paolo. You have here the interaction between Elisa, Paolo, and then there's this mysterious British officer. It felt so natural, yet for me, it's loaded with deeper clues. So my question is, how did you go about crafting the dialogue that feels both casual and weighty at the same time?
Yes, Paolo and I wrote this book together, sharing tasks and chance, fully immersing ourselves in the story and the characters. We even had our moments of arguments and anger sometimes, which often ended in us laughing and crying like a child, like kids. And this is the undeniable power of this thrilling novel. It lifts you up like an airplane, making you fly and feel truly part of it, this incredible narrative. And Mr. Ben Catt, that is the translator of this story, is a man that helped us and gave a good strong for this book, and he can support this what I said. He can support just because he lived in this situation, and I introduced him just because I think he's a great person, and we wanted to thank him for this work.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for translating this book. For the benefit of our viewers and listeners, this book was originally written in Italian, right? And we had the help of Mr. Ben Catt here, who translated the book into English. This is just a segue question that I want, but I want to go ahead and pivot back into the questions that I still have to ask both of you gentlemen. But Ben, how has it been, translating this book? You have for, so to speak, like first dibs, first access to the story of the book. What did you feel? Did it take you a long time to translate this? Can you walk us through the process?
Yeah, so originally I went to Italy as part of my university degree, and then I fortunately met Paolo and Sergio, and Sergio said he's writing a book and wanted an English version, and asked if I would help with the translation. And I thought it was a great opportunity for me to practice my translation skills and my language skills. And it was a great honor that he asked me to help, because it was such a fascinating, engaging story. I mean, from beginning to end, I was gripped by all the details, all the twists. It was just such a fascinating story and such an honor to be part of the whole process. So yeah.
But would you agree with me that what makes this conversation a little bit difficult is because we're trying to hold back, not to tell everyone about what the book exactly is, but just enough so that we can invite our viewers and listeners to get a copy. Would you agree with me when I said that?
Yeah, it's difficult because I think I mean, you've got the general story of the historical real story, but then it's mixed in with all these fantasy, fictional, amazing twists. So yeah, it's difficult because there's so many fascinating details that, I mean, you can give away some parts, maybe parts of the true story, but then the fictional parts give it this amazing new uh, part to it. So yeah, it is quite difficult.
Right. Thank you, Ben. Paolo, Sergio, let's go back to the book. The historical references in the book. You have a RAF squadrons. There was a real crash site, and military strategy are impressively detailed. To me, impressively detailed. What kind of research went into ensuring the accuracy of this?
Yes, is for me, Ben, translation, please.
I riferimenti storici del libro Squadriglie della RAF, siti di incidenti reali e strategie militari sono incredibilmente dettagliati. Che tipo di ricerca avete fatto per garantire questa accuratezza?
Ok, grazie Ben. In prima istanza proprio abbiamo la storia vera, siamo venuti a saperla dalle testimonianze degli anziani del paese e su quella abbiamo cominciato io per hobby col metadetector a cercare dei reperti e abbiamo trovato i primi reperti. Poi abbiamo coinvolto un gruppo professionistico di questi ricercatori, il GRAC di Piacenza, che grazie ai loro metadetector più sofisticati siamo riusciti a trovare i reperti più importanti, compresi le tavole identificative dell'aereo, e poi da quello siamo risaliti addirittura all'equipaggio. E da quello, grazie ai documenti desecretati della RAF, siamo arrivati a inquadrare il bombardiere inglese in una missione particolare durante la Seconda Guerra Mondiale. In seguito abbiamo anche, siamo risaliti addirittura a trovare le tombe di questi 5 aviatori, prima sepolti nel paese di Artana e poi traslati dalle forze armate inglesi al cimitero di Saglieno il 18 ottobre del 1945. Questo un po' in sintesi. Thanks.
I learned about the real story more than a decade ago at a time when I never thought I would write a book about it. Firstly, thanks to the testimonies of the elders of the village of Artana in Boreca, then by field research with a metal detector, and later by involving the GRAC of Piacenza, a group specialized in the search for crashed aircrafts. Thanks to the artifacts found, we first identified the aircraft and then the names of the 5 airmen. Next, thanks to the documents declassified by the RAF, we found out which mission of the British bomber was engaged in, and finally, by consulting the historical records of the monumental cemetery of Staglieno in Genoa, we found the graves and reconstructed the journey of the 5 bodies from Valbereca to the British War Cemetery in Genoa, where they still rest.
Okay, thank you. I have a follow-up question to that, because you researched. How long did it take you to do this? And the entire book, like writing it, how long?
Per quanto tempo avete fatto ricerca e quanto tempo ha fatto per fare tutto il libro?
Allora, per la ricerca,
I think
per la ricerca abbiamo cominciato così per gioco dal 2014, senza pensare minimamente né io né poi con Sergio di poter scrivere un libro su questa storia. E quindi sono passati 10 anni di ricerca e poi ci siamo incontrati.
yeah, so since 2014, then we met together and talk about this history, and then we realized that we could do a book. I met Paolo and said, "This is a fascinating story. Why don't we realize a book?" But he said, I never wrote a book. How can I do this?" So that, no, we have not to go quickly, but we have to understand, and maybe we try day by day and see what happened. And so we realized that happened a really good book. And
Paolo, Sergio, I can see that you guys have a really good friendship, a really good relationship. But I just want to go ahead and ask this question. Since 2014, when you started conceptualizing and then writing this book, was there ever a time that you guys disagreed on something?
yeah, sure. Yeah, it's normal that we sometimes uh, went to the not to fight, never, but we sometimes discuss about something. We return home. They say, I understand nothing," and they said, "You don't understand me." And but fortunately, Mr. Ben is present, and he helped us to find the right way. But it was easy to stay with Paolo just because we balance ourselves. Just because me, I think I write more about romance. I am much more how to say. Uh, I'm not a technical like Paolo. That Paolo supports with the technical situation and position and historical facts. And I romance. I prefer feelings, and I act in this way. And so we balance in our writing.
For me, that's a very good combination.
Yes, we think so. We are really good married, so that but with our wives, but we found after a lot of years another friendship, just because we met in the football fields years ago, and then
Soccer field,
soccer fields,
Yes,
no football.
soccer field. Thank you for that. Thank you.
and now we met this new passion of writing, and we are a really good friend in a second life.
All right, that's a joy to watch, gentlemen. Okay, so let's go back to the questions that I have for you. Going back to the book, there's a powerful moment early on when the character Paolo realizes that something might not be fiction after all. So, how did you approach writing those tipping point moments where belief begins to like sort of shift?
Yes, I think that there is more than a moment in which Paolo, but also the reader wonders if what is happening is true or is a fiction. Maybe when an important protagonist and characters of the book turns out to be a ghost, and when they realize they are not alone in this adventure in search of the atomic bomb, and maybe when some animals seem to impersonate other protagonists, when at the end of the book they come out of the cemetery where the young English and Australian soldiers are buried. In short, we can really say that this novel lives out with dubs and hanging thread until the end, just like a thriller. Just because when you finish to read the book, you remain with many dubs, and you're remaining astonished about the final of the story.
Right. Let me ask Ben a question. Ben, without giving away too much, if you are to pick a scene in the book that for you is like a cliffhanger or unforgettable, that is, what would that be?
Without giving too much away, there is a fox at one point in the story, similar to what Sergio was saying about animals embodying characters. It's a very, I think it's a very big moment, and in my head when I was reading that, I think it was kind of like a wow kind of moment. It was yeah, a big part of the story.
Right. And that's coming from you translating the book. So I can, there really is this is what makes this book interesting. It's because we have our guests right now, the authors, and we have who someone is translating for them, translating the book from Italian to English and giving us a piece of that story. Now, Sergio, Paolo, much of the story turns on a mission left unfinished during the war. How did you balance the tension between secrecy, memory, and revelation?
Actually, Ben.
Yeah. Gran parte della storia è incentrata su una missione lasciata incompiuta durante la guerra. Come avete bilanciato la tensione tra segretezza, memoria e rivelazioni?
Beh, sì, questa è una missione reale accaduta nel 1943, per la quale partirono appunto 76 Wellington da una base alleata in Tunisia e avevano come obiettivo andare su Torino e bombardare le fabbriche della Fiat. Ma questa missione fu totalmente fallimentare da un punto di vista meteorologico e nel nostro romanzo abbiamo inserito questa bomba atomica sul Wellington precipitato ad Artana, per cui abbiamo romanzato dando il merito della creazione della bomba atomica agli inglesi 2 anni prima del progetto Manhattan di Oppenheimer. Questo progetto inglese comunque esisteva realmente, si chiamava Cuba Lois ed era coordinato dal fisico tedesco naturalizzato britannico Klaus Fuchs, il quale appunto creò per primo per noi nel nostro romanzo la bomba atomica. A consolidare la nostra tesi abbiamo anche trovato un incontro tra Roosevelt, presidente americano, e il primo ministro inglese Winston Churchill, avvenuto in Quebec nell'agosto del 1943. E in questo incontro noi abbiamo romanzato che il primo ministro inglese Churchill fu assolutamente reticente sullo stato avanzamento lavori della bomba atomica, ben sapendo invece che l'aveva già terminata e l'avrebbe comunque praticamente testata su Berlino nel novembre del 1943, imbarcandola su Wellington HZ182. Però non avevamo fatto i conti con il tempo meteorologico e da lì nasce poi il romanzo. Sì, beh,
This Allied mission during World War II in November 1943, both in reality and in the novel, was totally unsuccessful due to the unforeseen weather conditions. The Wellington HZ182 that crashed at Artana carried the first atomic bomb destined for Berlin, so in the novel we gave the credit for the first atomic device to the British project called Tube Alloys, coordinated by the German but naturalized British physicist Klaus Fuchs 2 years before Robert Oppenheimer's American Manhattan Project. To consolidate our fictional thesis, we have cited that in the meeting that actually took place in August 1943 in Quebec between Roosevelt and Churchill, the progress of work on the atomic bomb was on the agenda. Winston Churchill in this regard was totally reticent with the American president, but he knew well that the British had completed it and already had the prospect of using it on Berlin on November the 25th, 1943, although without having checked the weather.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. Um, so in the book also, there are themes of remembrance, unfinished business, and legacy run throughout the entire story. So how do you see fiction helping to preserve or reshape real historical memory?
For me, Ben.
I temi del ricordo, delle questioni in sospeso e dell'eredità sono presenti in tutto il libro. Come vedete che la narrativa contribuisce a preservare o a rimodellare la memoria storica reale.
Ma chi legge il libro si catapulta sicuramente in prima persona nel romanzo. Ognuno può sicuramente immedesimarsi in uno dei quattro protagonisti attraverso una lettura scorrevole e anche adrenalinica. È come fare un po' un viaggio nel tempo con flash a sorpresa tra presente e passato, e il lettore potrà comunque anche viverlo successivamente dopo averlo letto, perché può ripercorrere i luoghi eh, citati nel romanzo e anche riconoscendo proprio le persone che incontrano i protagonisti. Il tema del ricordo e poi quello anche delle questioni in sospeso restano poi a carico del lettore, perché comunque che può scoprire a suo piacimento per portarle anche in eredità futura. Ecco.
Yes, there is a street really famous that connect Genoa to Piacenza, where there is this in the middle there is this valley. There is a street well known that the name is SS 45, and there is a street with good sightseeings, nice restaurants, and we talk about this street, and we talk about the people. We talk about this great story, a story of love, a story of war, but a story of feeling. And go for the translation, Ben, excuse me.
Readers of the book are catapulted into the novel in the first person. Everyone can identify with one of the four main characters through a smooth and adrenaline-pumping read. It is like taking a journey through time with surprise flashes between present and past. The reader can also experience it later by closely retracing the places and recognizing the people encountered by the protagonists. The theme of remembrance and unfinished business stick with the readers, and they can explore them at their leisure and carry them into the future with them.
Sergio, Paolo, am I hinting? Are we hinting on a second book here?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Okay.
We are thinking about another book, and is is explosive like this, like an atomic book, and there is a book of similar to this, but we cannot say today. But there is
Yes.
an intriguing situation about wars and about a history of a postman that went into this valley to give the post to the old people, and or further to the post he gives medicines and informations of the people in the war, and but we cannot today talk about this new book because is on work. We say people are on work, so we are working on this.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to a particular character that I'm fond of. So there's this character in your story. He was an unnamed British officer. Now, why I want to go ahead and talk about this, it's because it has this mythic feel to it, but still grounded. So was this unnamed British officer, Was he based on a real figure, or was he meant to represent something larger than himself?
Il personaggio dell'ufficiale britannico innominato sembra mitico ma fondato. Era basato su una figura reale o doveva rappresentare qualcosa di più grande di lui?
Allora, il sergente James Green, perché ha un nome, è mitizzato ma è fondato. Era lui, ad appena 22 anni, era il pilota comandante del Wellington HZ182, precipitato dall'Artana in Val Boreca. Nel romanzo, mentre precipitava e sapendo che non avrebbe avuto alcuna possibilità di sopravvivere, decide di posticipare il timer della bomba atomica che era impostato su Berlino al 25 novembre del 1943, ma a causa delle turbulenze in fase discendente riesce solo a posticipare l'anno al 2025. Conscio altresì che i serbatoi ancora pieni di carburante potevano fare da innesco alla bomba atomica, lui decide anche poco prima dello schianto di sganciarla per far sì che questo non provocasse appunto questa reazione a catena. Adesso quella bomba atomica nel romanzo è là latente in questa valle selvaggia incontaminata e da lì comincia il romanzo con i protagonisti che andranno a cercarla. Nella realtà ci piace comunque pensare che comunque mentre stavano precipitando, James Green e il suo equipaggio avesse notato quel paese e avesse volutamente deviato la rotta di collisione del suo Wellington verso una zona deserta, il cosiddetto Chan della piscina soporitana, e lì per evitare vittime civili. Diciamo che James Green, sia nel romanzo che nella realtà, James Green e il suo equipaggio li possiamo considerare a tutti gli effetti degli eroi di guerra e di pace, sicuramente. Please, Blaine.
Sergeant James Green is mythologized, but it is well founded that at just 22 years old, he was the commanding pilot of the Wellington HZ182 that crashed at Artana in the Boreca Valley. In the novel, as he was crashing, he knew he would have no chance of survival. He therefore decides to postpone the atomic bomb timer set on Berlin to November the 25th, 1943. But because of the turbulence during the fall, he manages to change only the year of the explosion to 2025. Aware also at the crash, the tank still full of fuel could act as a trigger for the atomic bomb, he decides to drop it just before the plane's impact. That atomic bomb that only a few people knew about, the 5 airmen, the top brass of the RAF and SOE, as well as Winston Churchill, now lies up there in the Boreca Valley among the wild and unspoiled forests, and the novel begins. In the reality of the tragedy, it gives me solace to think that Commander James Green diverted his aircraft loaded with the 20 quintals of conventional bombs from its collision course over the houses of Artana by deliberately crashing into a deserted area barely seen above the village Chian de la Piscina. So I consider James Green and his crew, both in the novel and in reality, to be heroes of war and peace.
Very interesting. That's brilliant, very brilliant for me. Sergio, Paolo, I know I've asked you earlier if you guys had disagreements when you were writing this, but I want to explore this one further. So this question is, you are co-authors. So how did you approach writing such a complex and layered narrative together? What was your collaboration process like?
Yes, I think you will understand that we are just a little different, just because our character is different. Paolo is much more technical, and he is of these places, just because his life was in these countries where this bomb was get off, and I had to know these places in order to write this history, because I never was in Val Boreca. And so I said, okay, I have to go to Boreca and visit Boreca in order to understand and feel how is this valley that is a wonderful valley. And you, Mr. Ray, are invited in this valley because it's a really wonderful place. And I have to say thank you to Paolo that invited me in this adventure to write this book and to let know this valley to all the people. But returning to the question, this novel is a collection, is a mix of technical, sentimental, and fantasy works. It's an historical narrative focusing on the mission of 5 English planes tasked with bombing the Fiat factories in Turin. To this, we added another mission in an imaginative mission, top secret mission, where only one of these planes would continue in a journey to drop an atomic bomb to Berlin. Finally, the novel interviews a beautiful contemporary love and adventure story in which a little girl set out to find this unexploded bomb in Boreca, a splendid valley in Italy. Paolo handled the technical aspect of the history, while I focused more on the fantasy and the romantic parts, striking the right balance. As I said, is a lovely part of Italy that maybe a lot of people goes to visit Turin or go to visit Rome, Venice, Portofino. Yes, it's not far from here. And but sometimes there are hidden places to be visited, and we matched together in order to realize the book, and for us was a good way to know us each other better, and this book helped us at our friendship to grow up.
Amazing. Speaking of writing this book, were there any scenes or concepts that were particularly difficult to write, either emotionally or structurally?
For you.
The most challenging part of bringing this book to life was undoubtedly its translation in English. I think that's because for us was the big mountain to walk.
Yes.
And especially since it was originally written in Italy, this book, so that the bigger problem was this. And immense credit goes to Mr. Ben Catt, who perfectly captured the message and the feeling we aimed to convey. To achieve this, we essentially had to make Mr. Ben Catt be Italian for a few months. So we said, come to Italy, remain with our families, and be part of our families, taste our cuisine, and appreciating our strengths and our weakness, savoring our cuisine, and sharing many pleasant moments with us. I believe this was indeed the most difficult part of the book, but I think it was the difficult part of the book for him, not for us, because to be Italians is a good adventure.
I understand.
Ben, in a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most difficult, how would you rate the translation process there?
Well, it was my first proper big translation job, so quite difficult. Also, to translate literary things that I think is can be quite a task sometimes, because creative writers like Sergio and Paolo, they have this brilliant way of expressing things, and then to try and take that meaning and concept and putting it into English can be difficult sometimes.
Yes,
So, yeah.
true. I agree. I mean, anybody can translate, but as you've said, it's a literary piece, and there's more to just translating the words. You're also translating the emotions that comes with it. And so can you share to us a little bit on how you managed to do this? How did you translate the emotions that's in the Italian version of the book into its English version? I know it's difficult, but can you help us understand the challenge behind it?
So, I mean, there was a lot of times where I would be reading the book, and I would have to go to see Sergio. We had many times where we sat down together and we discussed it, and I think that was a key part to translation as well, because even on my own it was difficult, so I had to go back to Sergio and kind of ask, so what exactly do you mean by this? And yeah, I think through those discussions it made it slightly easier.
I can see that both of Paolo and Sergio are smiling when you're talking about the sit downs that you've done. Was it all a walk in the park, or was there a moment also where you guys disagreed, like the three of you?
Yes, normally men always disagree. You have to know that the Italian peoples always people say that Italian peoples talks with hands, and this is a good help for us in order to help Ben for translating. Maybe it was I think that this is not a book, is a movie. Just because if you, Mr. Ray, were with us, you could understand that this was a movie and not only a book. Just because we did our best to translate and to give to transmit our passion, because this book is a book of passion, it's a book of feeling, it's a book. There is a big love story in this book, and there is a big message that we want to give to the people in this moment, that we will talk about this then.
Paolo and Sergio, before I'm going to ask you my closing question, I just want to give you guys some time to invite our viewers and listeners to grab a copy of your book, and to also guide us to where we can get a copy if we want to get one.
Ben, can you translate, please?
Dove possiamo comprare il libro?
The book is available in all the stores, in Amazon, by internet, in Amazon UK, in Archway, the online site, and there is a QR number in order to that you can get it by this QR number.
Okay. You have a hard copy of this book, am I correct? Hard copy, soft copy, and ebook. Do you have 3 versions?
Yes.
Yes, we have this ebook and the soft and the hard part. Yes, sure.
Perfect. All right. So my closing question, without revealing too much, what do you hope readers like myself walk away thinking about after we finish the final page of the book?
Senza rivelare troppo, cosa sperate che il lettori pensino dopo aver finito la pagina finale?
I lettori sicuramente dopo l'ultima pagina si sentiranno parte stessa e integrante del romanzo, in quanto la protagonista principale, la bambina Elisa, lascerà proprio a loro il testimone della missione, una missione di pace alla fine, che ognuno potrà realizzare per il prossimo ogni giorno. E cosa dice Sergio?
You can
Okay,
translate, then I do.
After the last page, the readers will feel part of the novel, almost as if they were the main protagonist. The little girl Elisa will leave the readers with a mission of peace that everyone can implement or try to implement into their daily life.
Yes, I think that I hope, for me is a hope that the readers will think to continue to come to visit Italy, because Italy is a wonderful country, and but not limited to the big city, the well-known city. You need to go to the little village and the wonderful and the landscape and valley that we have in our country. I hope that the reader has also to reflect on the theme of the peace, that today is a really important piece, and the message that you want to give them, and not to waste all this money on armaments, and understand that the only way to reach the peace is to listen to the voice and the word of children, just because they have an uncontaminated mind capable of discerning what is good and what is bad, whilst many great presidents and generals have lost their mind. And this is only to be open to the word of the children, because the children also are not kings, but are men, and they are talking and showing the right way to be out of this drama of the wars, of the wars, and to be in a peace moment, not in the war moment.
True. Paolo, Sergio, thank you so much for sharing your experience, your expertise, your passion in writing this book. And thank you so much for also even thinking of translating this book into English, not only keeping it for yourselves, but you've done us a very huge favor. It's a gift to us readers, actually, to have the English version of your book.
Yes, we think that there is a respect for the people involved of these English soldiers that lost the life here in Italy to save the community, the Italian community, and we are planning also to publish in Italian language next. This is for our people. This is for the people that are asking about this book, or here in Italy are talking about this book, and they are waiting for a new Italian version, and we will working about this, and maybe it could be yes, with Auschwitz, sure. And we hope maybe we have a dream to be a movie. Maybe if in the future it could be a movie, and we hope we ask Ben to do this work.
The screen, Ben.
Yes.
Ben, thank you so much for being also with us in this particular episode. Thank you for translating the book.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Such a pleasure talking to all of you, gentlemen. I'm hoping that in the future we'd be able to talk again, talk about your second book.
Yes, you are welcome, Mr. Ray, in Italy. We wait for this summer, and we will make you the tour, the tour in the valley and the restaurants.
I'll be honored to do it. I also would want to give a big shout out to our awesome viewers and listeners for joining us for this interview. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations on the Author Roundup. I'm Ray Walters. Join me next time as we explore the world of supported self publishing, one indie author at a time.